What's up guys, it's Jacob and welcome to first episode of High Stakes Tuesday, where we go through footage from the highest games in 5-card PLO. And as you can see today, we review 200-400 with NTs. This game played on, of course, on GG Poker. And already in first hand we can see quite loose squeeze from Konstantin, Austrian player. Players play short, so that might play a role. And the player who benefits from this loose squeeze is Russian player on small blind. That is in a great shape, as both players holding king high hands are basically blocking their own outs. And here you have it, guys. A 90k pot goes to small blind. Interesting first hand right away. And we are on the next table. Player from previous hand cold calling very wide. I'm starting to think this guy is the spot in the game, and his flop lead makes a lot of sense. Flop hits his range quite well, and his hand prefers protection. Quite large value bet on river. What's Levia going to do? He definitely cannot call. He's asking the same question, why does he bet such a large sizing? And he ends up calling, oh my god. Is he a no limit player? What just happened? Especially in a spot where someone leads into you, there's just not that many weak hands that he has in the range, so very strange play from Belgian player. The 9887 double suited, the hand looks pretty good, but actually we are out of position against early position raise, so I personally just let go this hand. Unless we face a player that opens very wide, then you can justify it, but it's a hand that gets dominated very quickly by narrow ranges. Players check through. Interesting, bringing flash and boat. We got a quick check. EP connects with this river very well, and you can see he also improved with his actual hand. But let's see how he size up. 3/4 standard sizing. Rather loose call from small blind. Austrian player still has some flashes. This is the reason why you don't want to play very wide from small blind. You are in a terrible spot, out of position against two players. Rather loose 3-bet, but at this stack size it's somehow okay. The reason why it's loose 3-bet because this hand is not ahead against double suited hands. And as we know in 5-card, half of the all starting combinations are double suited. So not a huge fan of that 3-bet. Yeah, stacks are building. Now we have multiple players with 100 big blind stacks. Yeah, let's see what's gonna happen. Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of leading with this hand, but if you're gonna lead, small makes sense as you keep your range wide and put pressure on big blind. Pretty tough spot for Jim Spark as he's facing very strong range sets, straight or combo draws type of hands. So his playability is really poor. If he calls, most of the time he will face a bet on river, and you definitely don't want to call and fold on river too much. And he goes for a raise, which makes sense for this stack size, but I'm not a huge fan of his hand selection. And basically he's drawing that against sets and straights. And yeah, he's not that ahead against combo draws. So Belgian player opens 10-9, 9-8 double suited, a hand that plays well in deeper stack size, but struggles against reshoves. Ronnie Kaiser jams kings. I think reasonable play, especially if players play very wide. As look at their ranges, ace king 7-5 deuce double suited, definitely hand that you don't want to play on a small blind. You're getting squeezed on, or you play out of position. questionable how we can realize our equity, as this hand flops mostly weak to pairs. So pretty tough spot for Belgian player, as Moblind still can have a jack, but so far we've seen this player plays very wide and is spewy, so I don't envy his pot right now. If he calls, we will get a 200k pot, so a huge pot, huge decision. And he decides to call. Surprisingly high equity, but the equity he cares a lot about is against the nut flush draw, and he's doing pretty well against that. Not on this turn, now is really behind and small blind with almost 60% chance to win. This enormous pot, 200k pot, choose to cash out, and river is an 8, and Russian player takes down 200k pot after very questionable pre-flop and flop play. Kinda questionable open, but he got rewarded. And again, very questionable c-bet. This hand definitely likes to be check back, unless we think that players are not capable of check raising aggressively. So far, Alex has been all over the place. And now you are in kinda tough spot, but I think I call again against Alex. He might have a bunch of weak hands, and then river. Yeah, you are in a super tough spot. There's just not that many hands we are beating. Like most of the draws will make a straight. Only hands that we are beating are missed nut flush draw or some very random bluff. He decides to call, I don't blame him. Alex has been all over the place, and he got very nice value from pair trip, so a little bit of hot run for a Russian player that plays very mergy. But you see, I really dislike the flop c-bet from Belgian player, especially in players that are capable of check raising very mergy. He actually walked into Kopasano strategy, so I doubt he tries to exploit. That's just how he plays, and Belgian player just played right into that. Ronnie Kaiser, another player that seems to be the spot in this game. A hand that's very likely to be dominated. As we said before, 50% of all hands are double suited. A beautiful card for Belgian player. Not only he improved to nuts, his opponent improved now into a trip, and he's definitely not going anywhere. Oh my god, this is pretty terrible run. But you can see why it's not great to play marginal hands. Unnecessary loss. Now the players, 4 players already have near 100 big blind stacks, so let's see some postal play. Interesting. I only can see checking back with checks, but with backdoor flush draw, I like betting. Pot sizing is pretty interesting, very exploitative. Basically telegraphing the strength of the hand. With nut flush draw and nut gather, we just call. So on this turn, I would again probably go for check with the worst checks, and the reason is that hand has bad playability on river, and there's just not that many lower sets that will call. The hands that will call are mostly combo draws or 2 pairs with flush draws that have pretty good equity against our hand. So I would probably go for check raise, and there's not that many 6-7 combos in Andras' range because he's button. He ends up jamming, which makes sense. He is a combo draw and he's doing very well even against sets. He had 42% against a set, and if he ends up folding some 2 pairs or folding some hands, that's a big win for his hand. So I don't mind his play. Quite loose cold call, but back with the antes and everyone playing quite wide, I don't mind it. Look at this spot size bet delay c-bet. Interesting play, trying to maximize fold equity. Andras decide to check back, arguing that Kaiser's range is full of king X and he's less likely to fold that hand in that low SPR. Ace 10 10 5 deuce definitely, and I would not advise to play, but Russian players has shown that he's not here to fold. An interesting 5-way flop where Alex gets rewarded again for his loose call. It's pretty sweet with his middle set and nut flush jerseys ahead against most of hands, betting quite large, saying I have a big hand. And what's gonna happen? Ronnie Kaiser with jams with 3 pairs, a flush draw and a gather. I think in his SPR or with his stake, I think that's a plausible hand to jam, especially against Russian player. He gets the sad news, only 25% equity. And no, he cannot catch a break. Oh wow! Look at this! A straight flash. Oh my god, what a hand. And Kaiser getting rewarded. Finally. Hitting his 1 out. And almost everyone on the table is at 100 big blinds. Let's see some postal plays. Look at this 3-handed. Kaiser on a good run. Decide to check it. I'm not sure if I like the hand. I like the check both blocking the stabbing range, and I would definitely bet and try to fold out equity share. And look at this. He got punished for that as James Park improved to a straight. Can he bet? He can, and you could see Kaiser is now in a whole lot of pain with his top 2 and nut flush draw. Does he intend to do anything else? He just calls, and what does he do on river? James Park, I think he's bet again, and he goes for it. It's really unlikely. Oh my god, Kaiser just snap called with his top 2 and a check. He just built a stack and now he's back again losing. Look at this 10-9-8-6 double suited early position open. Someone comes here to enjoy the game. In 3-handed again. What does Kaiser do? He checks back. I like that. This hand is just too weak to bet. And check. Look at this. River improves his hand into a set. And wow. Russian players find a bluff. Actually quite like his bet. But this time he just gets snapped by Kaiser. Nobody believes him anymore. He has been playing many hands and being quite aggressive. And then is in his place. I still just call. I don't think. Yeah, I think I just call. It's just a little bit too weak to jam. And sadly, a flash card. Giving nuts to Alex. Going for sneaky 1/3 bet. Dennis still has direct odds to call. And that's what he does, and look at this. He checks. Oh my god, I hate his check. Can Dennis fall in his trap? For Alex, it's the opposite day. When he has a strong hand, he checks, he traps. When he has a weak hand, he bombs. And the Russian player didn't fall into his trap. Look at this. Denis Konev. With top set, I definitely prefer betting, and he goes for pot, playing very exploitively, and James Park instantly jamming his top 2 with 2 gathers, and Andras Nemeth comes over, arguing that he blocks outs to a full house and gets there on the turn, 80% equity. That's it for him, winning a 90k pot. And that's it, guys. This is the last hand. Pretty interesting high stakes action. I hope you enjoy, and see you next time.